Okay, in this video, I'm going to try to teach you guys how to design a web page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to design a web page, and I'm going to try to verbalize what I'm doing at every step, so that you can kind of see how I would go about designing a page from scratch. So I don't even know how this will look or how this will go. I'm just going to kind of wing it, and hopefully it will help you guys sort of get in the head, get in that sort of design head. So the first thing that you should do when designing a web page is you start with a very basic. Oh, by the way, I'm using Adobe Experience Design to design this, but like a pen and paper is fine, or Photoshop, or just whatever you feel comfortable with to draw lines and squares, basically. So I'm going to start by doing the general layout of the site. I'm not going to put any detail in, just going to sort of say, where's a menu bar going to be? What are the main elements of my page going to be? So I always like to have menu bars at the top of the page. I think it's quite easy to do that, and it looks good. So menu bar at the top of the page, like that. There you go. We've already got ourselves the beginnings of a website. And then I think, you know what, I'm going to try to design a blog page. I think that'll be a good kind of simple page to start with. And I'm thinking maybe I'll have some big text, like a heading. Let's imagine this is an article. My favorite websites. Cool, so that's going to be my heading. So I'm going to make that much larger. Cool, and maybe I'll have that. I want to have it left aligned, but I don't want to have it on this edge of the page, right? Because that's like, terrible use of white space. So I want it to be sort of left aligned if there was like a box in the middle of the page. So you know what, maybe I'll draw that box to make things a bit clearer. If you look at most blogs, you'll see that the text doesn't run the full length of the page because that's too wide. People will be reading across your screen forever. So instead, there's sort of this like imaginary box where everything sort of lives in the middle of the page. And so I'm going to have my my text, my heading, sort of there. And I want this to be darker. But I'm not going to go full black, because full black is too intense. And if you actually have a close look at websites, you'll see that basically nothing is ever full black, because it's just too harsh. Alright, so I'm going to have my favorite websites there. You know what, I might make that bold. Can I make bold? Yes, bold. Ugh. Semi-bold. That looks good. Maybe a bit bigger. Maybe multi-line. Nope. Maybe. There we go. Alright, so now that you get the concept of this box, I'm just going to get rid of it because it's ugly. Okay. Cool, there's my heading. And then I'll put my main sort of body text underneath that. I'm going to get some lorem ipsum. Close all these tabs. Lorem ipsum is just dummy text. So, what is this? There we go. 5 paragraphs. Cool. Just dummy text. Gonna get some dummy text for myself. Copy that and chuck it. Oh god. Chuck it there, but that's huge, so make it much smaller. Make that 12. Okay, and wow, what have I done? Right. Alright, make that smaller. Put that like that. You know what, maybe, have I made that too big? Maybe that's a bit too big. I might make that back to 40, I think. Cool, that's fine, just leave that like that. Move this up like that. This is looking okay, make sure that's centered. That's centered now. You know what, it didn't actually look too bad off the side. Yeah, maybe I'll have it a bit off the side like that. It's quite nice. People visually tend not to like things that are perfectly centered. Like if I center this and then center it, it's very centered. Everything is quite, and well, I mean, especially if I centered that. Ugh, gross. People tend to like things that are actually a little bit off kilter. Like that. Looks a lot more, it has a more sort of professional feel to it. So I think I'll do that. But this is looking very bland right now, so we need a bit of a splash of color. So what might we do? Might we make this red? Oops. No, let's not make this red, because that is too intense. Remember, when we use color, what am I doing? We have to use it very sparingly. So we would not want to make that whole thing just a full red. No. But let's say that we did want to use like red as our accent color. How might we do that? Well, something that I think always works quite well is we can underline things, but in a quite a stylized way. We could put like a little line underneath this that doesn't even go the whole way, and maybe I'll make that a kind of bright red. But you see how I've used a very bright color, but because I've used it in, you know, like a small way, it's not overpowering. I might make that a bit smaller, I might make it a bit thicker. That's quite thick. So you see why it's so useful to design before you start coding. Can you imagine changing all these things in code? Much better to play around with it and get it just right in a designer first before you actually start coding. See, I still think that's a bit too thick, so I might make that like that. Yeah, okay. Cool. And then maybe for a bit more of a splash of color, we could do something with this menu bar up here. But we haven't really fleshed that out yet, so let's flesh out that menu bar. I wonder what pages I'm going to have on this blog. So I will have, you know, I'm just going to write some standard stuff like home. That can be one. And we'll make that a bit bigger. Cool. And that's not big enough as well. One mistake that I often see students make is they make their text just too big, just in general. There's just no need. So I see a lot of people will have their menu text looking kind of something like this. And you know, this is insane. It's insane for a couple of reasons. One reason is that it's ruined the hierarchy of information now. When you look at a page, you need to use design to direct people's attention. So in this page, the most important thing is this heading. That's what we want people to see first. So it should be a lot bigger than everything else. And well, there's not really much going on this page, so we probably want the text to be the next thing they see. So we want that to be smaller. In its current state, this looks like the most important thing on the page. So it should definitely be a lot smaller. Also, when text is bigger, it tends to make your design just look childish in general. Things that have big text commonly are children's books. You know, things that are for kids or old people tend to be have really large fonts. So you probably don't want to convey those sorts of things. So you probably want your text to be a lot smaller. So if I make this 20, there we go. And another nice thing about having smaller text is that it allows you to, without doing anything, make more effective use of white space. If we had this as big as it was before, we don't have as much padding around here, and it feels a bit more constricted. But this feels quite open and airy right now with this font size. So I'm going to add some more. So we got home. What else we got? I'm going to have about us. And I'm going to have contact us. This is a weird blog. And credits. Okay. Cool. Select all of them. And yeah, I'll just have them here. Again, with the left aligning, it looks much more professional to have this menu left aligned than it does to, I might lock that down, than it does to have it center aligned like that. See, that feels just a bit off kilter, because with this we've already established a theme of having things a bit to the left, and then we have this that's centered. So this is an example right now of poor internal consistency. It's like this part of the page is telling a story about things being to the left, and the top part here is contradictory to that. So let's move that over to the left, and we'll continue that theme. Now we said we wanted to splash some color, so what could we do? Well, if I just unlock that, wonder how a border would look if we use that same red for a border. You know what? Hang on. I'll get rid of that. Just make it a line. I don't know. Feels weird. Feels like maybe too much red. Maybe we use red to accent the currently selected page. That could be a cool idea. I wonder how we could do that. Maybe we could have a line or something. Actually, maybe that would look better if it was on this side of the word. And it would need to be thicker so that it stands out against this line, which is quite thin. Looks okay. And I'll make that red. That's quite bright. Maybe our red is just too bright in general. Maybe it looks weird because these lines are different thicknesses. What if we make that a 3? It's too intense. We'll tone it down a bit. Yeah, see, that's maximum intensity red right there. Never a good idea to go maximum intensity with a color, so I might first of all select both of those colors. And what can we do to it? It's a bit too dark. We kind of want it to be light, but just less intense. Maybe we don't want it to be fully red. It's getting orangey. It's kind of nice making it a bit more sort of a fuchsia. Again, see how important it is to design first so you can actually get this stuff right. I don't know. Is that okay? It's an alright color. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay.